Toxic leaders. We can describe toxic leaders as individuals whose destructive behaviors, driven by their egos, unintentionally harm the organizations they lead. Toxic leaders can destroy entire organizations through their behavioral patterns. Even when they are successful, they can only take their companies as far as their own vision allows. When situations surpass their vision, they often choose to block or hinder others. Regardless of their success, what distinguishes toxic leaders from others is that all their decisions are driven primarily by self-interest and ego. No matter how well you perform in the workplace, when you encounter a toxic leader, your efforts become futile. They can even backfire. You may face mobbing and manipulation. Toxic leaders are entirely focused on their own needs. Even if you do good things for the company, if your actions contradict their personal interests, they will do everything in their power to undermine you. I'm not going to define toxic here. There is plenty of information available online. Based on my practical experience, I can categorize toxic leaders into three main groups. Group 1. Successful business owners with power who are toxic leaders. Group 2. Business owners who hold power but whose success is questionable. Group 3. Cunning and toxic professional managers. Group 1. Successful and powerful toxic business owners. These individuals are genuinely strong and successful in their workplaces. However, people cannot thrive around them. They mentally exhaust their employees. They have huge egos. These companies suffer from constant staff turnover. They are excessively controlling, rarely satisfied with anyone's work, and reject ideas that don't originate from themselves. They dominate meetings, silencing others. Their extreme egos and narcissistic traits are immediately apparent. They treat everyone around them as thieves, lazy, incompetent, or foolish, and they ignore the accomplishments of truly outstanding individuals. They can be company owners or long-serving top executives. If your boss is a toxic leader, the only real option is to leave the job. However, resigning itself is risky. Leaving without securing a better position can damage your career, leave you unemployed for a long time, or force you to accept a lower standard job. Those who manage to endure working with toxic bosses eventually become indifferent, submissive, disengaged, and merely compliant employees. Even during times when you think you're performing well and haven't yet decided to leave, angering such a boss can trigger mobbing, and if you insist on staying, you may be fired. I have also met many professional managers who fit the toxic leader definition. These managers dedicate themselves to becoming the boss's right-hand person. They shrink before the boss, but become oppressive and ruthless when alone with their teams. They never appreciate anyone's work and secretly isolate and mob colleagues they perceive as potential rivals. They exclude them from meetings, ignore their opinions, and hold staff meetings behind their backs to give instructions to the team. When department performance drops, they blame you and claim they had to intervene due to your inadequacies. These people work late into the night, rarely take vacations, and accumulate unused leave. They snoop through your desk and drawers after hours, constantly trying to prove their loyalty to the bosses. They are often highly skilled and deeply knowledgeable about their work. They are loyal and have no intention of leaving the company, which is why employers like them. The biggest problem in companies managed by such individuals is that capable people leave due to mobbing, further strengthening the toxic manager's position each time. The company stagnates and fails to grow because it moves forward through the perspective of a single individual. Group 2. Business owners with power but questionable success. These individuals are often found among second or third generation business leaders. They did not establish the company themselves. They typically studied in a good university, completed temporary assignments at partner firms to learn the business, and were raised in a sterile, privileged environment. They are snobbish and intelligent. They appear visionary but are disconnected from reality and struggle to see the truth. They usually focus heavily on the long term and technology, but show little respect for other people or differing opinions. Their toxic attitudes can extend so far that they even disdain their own parents. They belittle their fathers, uncles, or veteran experts who have built the company, mocking their perspectives with sarcastic tones. Such individuals unintentionally disrupt company dynamics. In my view, this is the most dangerous group because they can destroy their companies. While there are successful second and third generation leaders who take family businesses to new heights, there are also toxic leaders parachuted into leadership roles despite lacking leadership or business acumen. Armed with the artificial vision of studying abroad, fluent language skills, and the courage derived from inherited power, they criticize the company system, make poor decisions, and refuse to listen to anyone. Their ideas are often so convoluted and visionary that those around them cannot even understand what they mean and end up staying silent. In reality, their strategy is to be as incomprehensible as possible, to appear more competent than they are, and to enjoy the momentary satisfaction of seeming superior. Companies led by such people often fail to transition from the second generation to the third. As a management consultant, I have been called into many such companies. Initially, they bombard you with attention, eagerly spending most of their time with you while sharing their problems. However, when you confront them with the real issues they didn't expect, they disappear, cutting off communication, a behavior known as ghosting. In contrast, companies led by non-toxic leaders lay all perspectives on the table, rigorously debate and test ideas with other managers, refine them, and steadily guide the company toward a better path. Group 3. Cunning and toxic professional managers. There are two types here, those who are successful and those who are incapable of achieving success on their own. The successful type builds their identity through the company. They work tirelessly day and night, and the bosses cannot part with them. They eliminate all potential rivals by crushing or driving them away and are protected by bosses due to their loyalty. There is another group that can only survive by clinging to others. Their success does not stem from competence, but from the personal networks of friendships they build with company owners or within the organization. This network of personal relationships earns them the love and respect of others, making them appear trustworthy, honest, and kind. In reality, it takes time to realize the damage they cause to the company. These individuals tend to have calm voices, dignified appearances, dress stylishly, and maintain a gentle demeanor. They avoid direct personal conflicts, and people often mistakenly judge such conflict avoidance as a sign of goodness. They subtly harm the company from within and must be weeded out once recognized. However, such individuals seem to have embedded themselves in almost every organization. You won't find specific accomplishments in their careers, yet somehow they have held prestigious positions in the past. People assume they were successful simply because of those positions. They often hide behind group efforts, steal others' ideas, and in trusted circles, pretend they were the originators of those ideas, but chose not to take credit out of maturity. They systematically know others' weaknesses while appearing friendly and secretly share this information with upper management. These individuals create such a toxic atmosphere behind successful people that it appears as though the successful person only achieved their position thanks to their support. They subtly spread lies, claiming that the successful individuals were insufficient on their own, but managed to cover their weaknesses only because of them. These highly cunning people act as close friends to win others' trust and create space for their own existence. In psychology, such individuals are also referred to as dark empaths. Being able to distinguish toxic leaders from normal ones and discreetly take precautions against them is of critical importance, whether you are a business owner, manager, or employee. If you enjoyed this article, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Сочный дым, выдыхаем сладкого. Старый капитан опускается за бабками. Веер из купюр, нам дорога гладкая. Здесь у меня успех, нагадала бабка. Сочный дым, выдыхаем сладкого. Старый капитан опускается за бабками. Веер из купюр, нам дорога гладкая. Здесь у меня успех, нагадала бабка. Сочный дым, выдыхаем сладкого. Старый капитан опускается за бабками. Веер из купюр, нам дорога гладкая. Здесь у меня успех, нагадала бабка.